Hi, this is Linda Burton
This is Joe Burton.
with Generation to Generation. Today we're here with the
So
Flowers,
again, nice to see you guys again.
Good to be with you again.
and we're going to talk about the circle.
The love circle.
Yes.
The love circle. Not to be confused with the love shack. I want to go there. But the love circle. It's more wholesome, right? Better life, all that good stuff.
Well, let's see. What does the love circle mean?
What's the idea behind this love circle?
It's about people that they get in relationships, and relationships take different directions at certain seasons, and they move into different areas of relationship, and it comes full circle. So it'll start one place, go someplace else, another place, and then it comes back full circle. And so if you don't know where you are in the circle, you can really get in trouble. I liken it to a wheel on a wheelbarrow. So you take the circle and you divide it into three pieces of pie, or three sections. So take a wheel and divide it into three sections and take out one section.
That's not going to be a good ride.
So you're going to have a bumpy ride.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have a bumpy ride in their relationships because of one section or another missing, or they didn't do any work on that section. And so it's really important to be aware of the three different sections of the circle, so that you can do the work and make and understand the commitment, and know that the emotions are there. A lot of people, they go to relationship counseling, or they go to different places because they're unhappy or not satisfied with their relationship, and they say, I don't feel like, I don't love you anymore, I don't feel love for you anymore. And the reality is, if you don't do the work, you're going to lose the feelings.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because love is not just a decision, but the emotions do come into play.
Mhm.
And when the emotions are off, and they could be off for a number of reasons, but if you don't understand the reason why your relationship is important, then you won't pay attention to the things that really matter. Sometimes people get married, or they get into a relationship, and they just get kind of lazy, if
Mhm.
you will, and they don't do. And when we say the work, we're not talking about laboring, but just being aware of the necessary components for a healthy relationship.
Mhm.
That's what's important.
Mhm. So if you think in terms of a circle, a full circle in these three pieces, the first piece of that circle would be the commitment,
Mm-hmm.
the commitment of love. That's the first piece of the circle. The second piece of that circle would become the work of love.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third piece of that circle would become the feelings of love. Now, generally, what happens is that people move into relationships at the third part of the circle, the third piece of pie. They go into a relationship at the feeling stage.
Mm.
And-
Okay.
Okay, and so those feelings, and all of that is working, and it's all
Testosterone.
tis him.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that
one.
part.
Part all of that's going on, and it can move you into what could become interpreted as a commitment. It may not be, but it can be interpreted as a commitment. Some people even marry in that stage, and they think, a lot of times people settle in thinking,
Mm.
because I'm feeling love toward you and we've made this commitment, quote, I do, and I heard you say you do too.
Yeah.
And so we stop there. We just relax there and think that is what it is.
Mhm.
And,
And that's all there is.
and that's all there is.
This infatuation.
Say it again.
Infatuation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the problem with that, though, is if you don't follow up the commitment with the work, at some point you start to lose the feelings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because life happens. There will be times when you just won't be feeling that way.
Mhm.
You know, I've gotten up in the morning and I'm not feeling all, but then I think about the commitment that I've made to my husband. And so sometimes I just have to get out of me. I have to get out of Kathy. And we've got to be aware. And I'll say this until the day I can't talk anymore. But for women, our emotions can get in the way because sometimes we'll be feeling one way one day and the next day we're feeling something else. And it depends on what time of the month, it depends on what our age is, it can depend on what's happening around us. But when you're committed to something, your emotions cannot be the factor that either drives you or causes you to pull back. If you're committed to something, you got to be committed to it. Like getting up and going to work. You're committed to the job, but sometimes we don't feel like going to work. But we know that because of our jobs, we have a responsibility.
Mhm.
And, I may not feel like going to work, but I need to go. I may not feel like going to school, but if I want if I want to receive a degree or a certificate of completion, depending on the level of education you're searching or seeking for, you got to do what you got to do because the payoff is so worth it.
Mhm.
But sometimes our body or our mind say, I'm not feeling it today. Forget the feelings. Do what you gotta do.
So if you just did a brief cap of it, the commitment of love would sound something like this. Your commitment is all about you and not who you're committed to.
What does that mean, all about you?
Your commitment of love basically reflects you and not who you're committed to. It's really about you. Is
Okay.
about you. When you make a commitment, it's about you, not the person you're committed to. It's about you. It comes twisted when you make a commitment with a ulterior motive or a hidden agenda. The commitment has to be about you. Now, if you get two people that understand that concept, who make the commitment, but the commitment is about them and not the other person. Now you have a healthy ground for the seed of love to actually germinate and actually grow. But when I'm committing to you with an expectation or alternative motive behind it, like you can do this for me and you're good at this and I'm going to use you for that and all of that kind of thing.
And you bring this to the table.
And you bring this to the table. And so I really love you, but not really. Okay, so the important thing to understand in the commitment stage, and problem with this is people don't think this through because they're so caught up with the feelings of love that they don't think about what the commitment of love. See, each one of the pieces of the pie is equally as important. Each one is as important as the other. So the quick glance at commitment is your commitment is all about you and not who you're committed to. That puts us in the right ground to really examine commitment. Now,
because I was going to say it's a word that's not used very often.
No, not really.
Yeah, instead of saying love, you should probably say committed.
Yeah.
No, because do you love me or are you in love, or because I know that's a issue with people, like, because they use that a lot, but they don't have any idea what love is.
Yeah.
I think they're too much on the feeling side of things, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Because I always think about faithfulness, like your faithfulness don't depend on the other. Well, it doesn't depend on what the other person do or don't do. It depends on if you decide that you want to be faithful.
That's basically what we're trying to say here.
Something like that, yeah.
And because that part of this pie is critical, the commitment. It's critical for a love relationship for the two people that make a commitment to understand what they're doing.
Mhm, mhm.
It's
Oh,
critical.
so it's
So
so
many things can happen.
so it bleeds over then, right? I
Mhm.
mean, it's like, so don't each, like, you said you have three pieces.
Mhm.
They kind of bleed all over into each other.
Right, right. They,
You try to cut it like a pie. You take some of this with you and you take some of that with you. If you try to cut it out.
because if you cut something, it will move into the other one. But if you cut one of them pieces out, you're gonna start to have bumpy rides.
Yeah.
And that's where people are. They have bumpy relationships. And their relationships are just, up and down. They got headaches going on all the time and can't get along, and all kind of things are happening because they're trying to ride on a wheel that's not round.
Mhm.
Right.
And sometimes people, their relationship might hit a bumpy road or a bumpy area. And the first thing that comes to mind, well, I guess we're not suited for each other. And so let's get a divorce rather than find out what may be going on and work toward making sure that you understand where you are in your relationship. Because in the beginning, when people first get married or when they first get together, everything is fresh, everything is new. I'm laughing at all your jokes.
Mhm.
I like the way you smell, I like the way you look.
Yeah.
um, you're fine. And then life happens. You
Mhm.
know, life just begins to happen. And now all of a sudden we don't look the same. We're not using the same colognes. you know, we're dressing different. We're thinking different because we're maturing, and
Mhm.
things change. In the beginning stages, it's all puppy love, and we just can't keep our hands off of one another. And then it gets to the point where even if I don't have my hands on you, I can still love you
Mhm.
because I've made a commitment to love you. So it's not always about the physical, it's not always about the emotional, but it's about the commitment.
Can I ask you a question, Pastor Kathy?
Of course.
Because I see a lot of young ladies do this. So I wanted to ask you if you did this when you were younger, when you first met Pastor James.
Uh-huh.
Because I remember some young girls when they first meet somebody, they write their name with the other person's last name,
Uh-huh.
or they may draw hearts. So when you were younger, did you go through a stage like that where you're like, because I remember somebody, and I won't mention their name, but I remember somebody, they were going out with somebody, and they had this notebook, and the notebook was filled up with hearts and their initials of this person that they just met. And I'm like, man, she spent a long time with those pages because it's little tiny hearts, and a regular notebook,
Right.
it's like, and she colored each one, and it's like, man, she spent a lot of time doing that. So she was in that infatuation stage, that love stage, that puppy love stage. I'm like, man, she must be really in her love stage. Because
Yeah.
so I wonder if you did something like that when you first met Pastor. Because no, what did you do though? Like you like
No,
did you think about?
I ran away from him.
Oh, you ran?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
For a whole year, I didn't want to
Scared you, huh?
even see him, and I didn't want to have anything to do with him. But and so I literally ran. I mean, not literally run, but I ran away from him
Mhm.
because I didn't want to have anything to do with him. I wasn't ready for a relationship. I thought I was going to have a career. Um, you know, uh, it's not important what my career was going to be, but I wasn't interested. So for a whole year, he'd come toward me, I'd go the other way.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
But
did you
then,
have any moments like that, Linda? Oh,
but then, I started even during that year, I started looking at him as a person. and I started to see his heart.
Mm.
And when I saw his heart, because he wasn't like other boys. I saw his heart. I saw that he had a good heart, and I saw that his heart was pure. And that was different from any other boy that I had ever met. And I just wasn't one that was going around looking for love. I just, I didn't have that kind of confidence where anyone would love me for real.
Hmm.
So I wasn't in the market. But he
Okay.
found me and he pursued me for a whole year. And then finally, like I said, I I saw his heart, and that changed everything.
So then let me ask Pastor James then, since you was pursuant, did you have those moments of, man, I'm gonna marry her and we gonna have this? So did you go through that moment then, since you were the pursuant? Like, I mean, the pursuer?
Yeah, yeah, quite a bit. Um, I was attracted to her, attracted to Babe, and first thing I did was put out this statement that she's gonna be my girlfriend. I was probably not very smart. That was the very first thing I did. At the church we were at, I put the statement out, she's gonna be my girlfriend. Of course, it got back to her. And far as Babe was concerned, I was the last person on earth she wanted to be around.
Mm.
But it was just something about her that I kept wanting to be with, And that year process taught me a lot about me.
Really?
It helped filter out all of those feelings to come to a place where I really, really wanted to be with her.
Mm.
And I think it's really important for women to understand this about men, because men don't always commit just because they have feelings.
Mhm.
And it takes men a lot longer to really commit to a woman versus a woman. A woman can, she can be in your arms, and all of a sudden, if it was right, let's do this, let's get this going. This is going to be you and me. And he don't necessarily feel like that.
Mhm.
It was just a good moment. It's a good time. And now let's move on.
His testosterone was up.
Yeah. Testosterone was at a high level. Now it's gone down. And okay, let's just keep going. That can really be damaging and hurtful to a woman,
Mhm.
because she's made you hers, and you haven't made her yours.
Mhm.
And so the year that it took us to really get together helped me understand I actually wanted her.
Mhm.
It was more than attraction. I actually wanted her.
So was it something that grew,
Uh-huh.
like, month 3, month 4, month 5?
Yet start it, and it helped me examine it, because the rejections cause you to examine, why are you still doing this?
Mhm.
What?
Even though she's rejecting you.
Yeah. Her and her friends would walk up in front of me. She'd let me carry her books, and her and her friends would be in the front. I'd be walking behind them. Of course, it caused me to ask this question: why am I doing this?
Mm.
Mhm.
And it made me see that he was serious. I
Mhm.
mean, it was a whole year, and like I said, I got to see his heart, the real person. Because I told him, I said, yes, you can carry my books, but you have to walk behind me.
Mhm.
So it just showed me who this guy really was. And too often, women don't do that. We just Too often people just don't do that. But it taught both of us learned something out of that year. We both learned something.
Mhm.
I learned his commitment, and then I learned how serious his commitment was, because at any time he could have said, you know what, I I don't need to do this, and he could have walked away.
Yeah.
Of course, at that time we was kids. We didn't know the research, but I found out later on the research shows that it takes men somewhere between a year or more to really come to a place that they are committed more than just the physical feelings and the attraction that meets the eye. It takes men much longer to get to that place than it does women.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because I remember watching a show with Linda. Well, she was watching it. I just glanced at it. Well, they glanced. So I sat there for a little bit, and this woman, I think she was in her 30s,
Mm-hmm.
met this guy, and she was trying to hurry up the relationship. And the guy was saying, I'm not there yet. I mean, why do we have to, make a commitment that soon about marriage or whatever, or engagement?
Mm-hmm.
So, he was like, well, can we just, go and take it, let it naturally happen? But she kept pressing in. I don't know if I can wait. I mean, how do I know? So I'm like, what advice to women? Like, why do you think she would do, like, some women do stuff like that, try to hurry up? Because I guess they're thinking about their timetable, right?
I
And
think
where
that
they're
has
at.
a lot to do with it sometimes. I
Yeah.
think sometimes it can be pressure from other women or whatever that looks like. Uh, I'm gonna make you mine, and I think that's dangerous. I think Bible talks about the man should find you. For a woman, a man should find you, and you shouldn't make it easy for him to find you. Because if he finds you too easy, he may not really want you.
And
Yeah.
women try to do that because a woman feels, if I give you me, then you're going to love me. No, that's not true.
Mm.
A lot of women have had their hearts broken because they didn't give that man time, and they didn't give themselves time to find out who that man really was.
Yeah.
And too often women are just trying to push the buttons, and the guy, a man, when a man decides that he's going to do something, if he's committed to it, you don't have to keep asking him about it. If he's committed to it, he's going to do it. Now, if he's not, he won't.
Yeah.
But to push him, that's the wrong thing to do, because you don't want this man to make a commitment to you on something that he hasn't committed to himself first.
Yeah, because a lot of times a guy can say stuff out of lust.
Yeah.
Baby, I love you, and he don't really love you, just wants you. And if you're not careful, you could take that, because guys can make it look real. They can do the bite the inside the jaw and shed a little tear and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes guys practice that stuff.
They get in the mirror.
You want to say? Yeah.
Wow.
And basically it's just conquest. It's just another something to conquer. And that's not love at all. That's not no kind of commitment at all. And you really want to protect your heart from something like that. I know we're going in a different direction here, but you really
guard your heart.
Yeah, you want to protect your heart against something like that. Wow. And the best way to do that is to slow down.
Give yourself time.
Yeah, because I was going to say that in those moments, I have found out that the guys, they do tell the woman, like, like I was giving that example, like, why do we have to go so fast? But for some reason, it's not being, she's not hearing, it's not getting past. But some guys do say it, I'm not ready yet, and so, in so many words, they say it, you listen to them.
I think one of the things that can really create a deception for women is the attraction that they experience of a man to her body. Sometimes she can misinterpret the fact that he's attracted to her body, that he's really attracted to her. And that can really create problems for her. She can make decisions based off of that interpretation of that, and find out later that he's really not ready to commit to you at all. All he was wanting was you, the physical you. And guys are very, there's nothing wrong with this. It's what it is that we're different from women.
Mhm.
And a guy can say I love you. And basically what he's saying is I want you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But do they know that? Like, do guys know he's saying he love this person and he really thinks he does, but is really want or lust?
Quite often
In
that
his mind, can he tricks it? Is it like, is he tricking himself as well?
Well, it's the chemical reaction that he's feeling
Mhm.
that might be interfering with stuff too.
So he can actually kind of think that, or he's thinking that.
Because it's just in heat right now, just to tell you the truth. You know, but when real pressure comes, it really all of a sudden it's your, oh no, I ain't ready for this.
And that's why when a woman gets pregnant, sometimes the man is gone.
Mhm.
You know, hey, I didn't sign up for this. And she may be thinking, well, this is going to keep him. No, it's not.
Mhm.
No, it's not.
Mhm.
If there's no commitment there, then it was just the act of sex itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And too often women think, oh, he's paying attention to me. Like James said, he's not so much paying attention to you, the person, he's paying attention to your body.
Mhm.
And very often women will dress provocatively just to see what kind of man that they can attract. And if a man, I mean, if you got all your stuff out, he's naturally going to look. But just because he looks doesn't mean he really wants you,
You.
the person. He
Yep.
wants your parts.
Yep.
Did
Yep.
I say that?
You did.
Okay.
And that was a good way of saying it.
Okay. I just wanted to know.
And that's all on that feeling side of the wheel. Like we're still there.
The commitment.
Yeah, no, the
No,
feeling,
feeling.
the feeling.
Feeling.
Yeah.
That's what it
it's,
all is.
it's part of it. That's part of the physical part of the courting and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But once you move to the relationship, that's why it should take some time before you get to a relationship, because that process there is just it's a natural process,
Yeah.
and it really should be some time spent with the person before you go there, and a time spent without any compromising of the physical and that kind of thing. You actually, if you don't compromise, if you don't give into this, because the sex really can get in the way, it can really mess up things. If you don't get caught in that, then you get to see who you really are.
Mhm.
Because that is basically the driving force in the early stages.
So is it feelings, commitment, and then relationship?
Feelings, commitment, and work.
Oh, and work.
That's you don't want to enter in that door first. Right.
Well, generally what happens, okay, let me look at it a little bit. Generally what happens is people connect starting with the feeling.
yeah.
Okay, so there are basically 5 different things that we understand about feelings. The first one is the feeling of being respected. This is in the relation. This is when you start to connect with the person. The feeling of being respected, the feeling of being important. So in when you first meet, you start to feel respected by the other person. Each one feels respected. So you know how to talk to each other. You feel respected. And the ability to make the other feels important. So you feel important with each other. You feel when you're together, you feel important, and then you start to, after a while, you start to feel accepted by that person. You know, and as you begin to feel accepted, you start to feel included. You start to let a person in on your problems, and you start to listen to them, so they begin to feel included by you. And then at some point you start to feel secure enough to actually go to another level in your relationship, because you don't go there fast, and guys go much slower than women do. I mean, for real. Okay, so now what you have, you have this respect causes you to feel valued. So when a relationship is going, you respect the person, we start to feel valued by each other, and then if we're feeling important to each other, then important makes us feel needed. So now I'm feeling valued and I'm feeling needed. And then if I'm accepted by you, if we accept each other, we start to feel like we've been chosen.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And so all of these things are foundational feelings for real relationship. And that after chosen, included, causes us to feel essential. I'm essential in this relationship. It's vital that I'm here with you. And as we start to feel essential, the last one is secure. And what happens is I begin to feel safe with you. So I'm valued, I feel needed, I feel chosen by you, I feel essential, that I'm vital to you, and then I feel safe with you. Now, those basic feelings start to blend or build, or you start to grow seeds from that. And the seeds of feeling like I feel like nurturing you. I feel nurturing because all of this stuff is in place. I feel nurturing, and then I start to feel as I feel nurtured, I start to want to be with you even more. I want to be around you more. And as we start to want to be around each other more, we start to feel more attracted to each other. These are the feelings we feel attracted. And then as we feel attracted, we start to experience real romantic feelings, real ones, not based off of hormones, but real, real.
And that point right there, and maybe a few points before, that's when the sex happens.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then that's where problem starts.
Oh yeah.
Sex shouldn't have it, even though, yeah, see, that's the temptation. Sex shouldn't be there. It should be much later around that commitment area.
Exactly.
So that's where we go wrong at, because the sex appears in that stage right there.
Yep.
When it shouldn't be there yet.
It's in that feeling area is where people get messed up, because this stuff is real, and you start to feel like that. You start to feel loyal to a person. You begin to feel loyal to them, and you're mine. Okay.
I'm yours.
And you start to feel devoted, those kind of things. Now, those are the feelings of love. The problem with that is those feelings cause you to move to a commitment place.
Mm-hmm.
So you get dum, dum, da, da, dum, dum, da, da. So because people have moved now, because of those feelings, they move into this committed area. They want to commit to each other. Now, when we move into this commitment area, here is the problem with commitment. Commitment means it's all about me. I'm the one that's making this commitment, but I'm making it based off of these feelings, but the commitment is mine. Okay, I'm making the commitment to you. And what a commitment means is that I self-obligate me. I obligate myself. I don't know if as you look at this and just see how relationships as through the years have gone, people are not really, they're making a verbal commitment, but they're not necessarily self-obligating themselves. Sometimes we're making a commitment based off of you, when basically my commitment of love for you is really a reflection of me.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm saying I love you, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm the one that's in love with you. So if I'm in love with you, this will come naturally. I don't have to pull it out of you. I want to hear you say you love me. You don't have to, when a person really loves you, you don't have to ask them those questions. They just naturally come. And if they don't come, you naturally feel them, because they may not, because some people are very verbal. I'm very verbal. Pastor is too, but in a deeper way. But some people are very verbal and they want to say it, and some people just need to hear it. Say you love me. When was the last time you told me you love me? It's been a week since you said you love me.
So you can see now you make this big commitment. Now here, basically, this is what commitment is. It's I am responsible for my commitment and not you. I'm responsible for my commitment. Now here is the problem. The strength of my love or the strength of my commitment is based on my ability to keep my word.
Mm.
That's what this. So you can see how verbal commitment without any ability is really not commitment at all.
Mm.
It's just words. So I can go down the aisle and I can have on a black tuxedo and I can say I do. But if I have no ability to keep that word, those words mean
absolutely
nothing. So I'm not self-obligated. I just said some words.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem with saying words, because we're coming off of the feelings. So we got all them feelings going on, and they're clouding our understanding of what real commitment actually is.
Mm.
Now we get together, we hook up, and like you say, the sex comes in place, and all of a sudden now we got babies, and we got 2 babies or 3 babies, and then we settle and think, okay, that's it. And we don't bother to go back and do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So what starts to leave is the feelings. When we don't do the work, what leaves is the feelings. And once the feelings is gone, we don't want to keep the commitment.
And that's why the vows are so important. And whenever pastor conducts a wedding, he actually takes his time to make sure that people understand what this ceremony is all about. It's wonderful when, we've got all the dress and we've got the flowers and the candles and the twinkling lights and all that. But he takes his time so that people understand you're not just coming to a ceremony, but you're coming to be a witness to what these people say to one another, that you are a witness to it, so that if they ever get out of sync with one another, you can remind them of what they said that day.
So what is the work then? Okay, so here is the work. Creating a safe environment. That's the work. Creating a safe environment that means knowing how to communicate, learning the skills on how to talk to each other, mm-hmm. so that when we're vulnerable, we feel safe. Because if we don't feel safe when we're vulnerable, we'll lose the feeling of secure. Mm-hmm. Okay, because the feeling of secure starts to leave because it's not safe to be around it, because we don't know how to talk. We just yap and snap and that kind of thing and point to each other and all that kind of thing. Then the other part of that is developing and practicing the skill of empathy. Because if I don't practice empathy, if I don't practice it on an ongoing basis, you start to begin to feel disconnected from me. Okay, the other thing is problem solving. We have to learn how to problem solve. We have to develop the skill of problem solving without destroying goodwill. That's a skill. The other thing I have here is continuing to answer the 3 questions. Am I okay? Did I do good? Do you still love me? Because those questions, now if we work on that kind of thing, if we continue to do that work, then the feeling part continues to grow. And when it grows, the commitment is solid. Mm. And when the commitment is solid, we do the work. And when we do the work, the feeling is there. Circle. But take one of those pieces away. Now you got a bumpy ride.
So let me ask you a question, man. So each person, is responsible, because each person is going to go, through this, right? They go through the, why is it escaping me now? What's the first thing? Feelings. Mm-hmm. So you got both people at this feeling stage,
Mm-hmm.
and then some will be ahead of the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the person that's ahead of the other is gonna be looking back at the other person, you know, and wondering, okay, why don't you feel the same way I do? Because they're not up there yet,
Right. Right.
right? So it's like, so when, I don't know, I'm just trying to, you know, put it in practice a little, now be practical about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like everybody has to slow down, right?
Right.
You know,
That's the key, Joe. Slowing down.
so everybody has to slow down because you might go, so what if you're the person that's ahead of the other person, then you have to learn some skills or whatever to let this person catch up to where you are.
Mhm.
I mean, that could be tricky, right?
It is. So since the man is slower, it's always wiser to go at his pace, not the sexual pace,
Mhm.
the commitment pace.
Hmm.
Because if a woman goes at her pace, she could be out there and committed and ready to have a real relationship, and he's like, it sounds like a good idea. Someday we're gonna do this. Come on, let's just get this. This is a hang out together and all of that. And you know how people justify it. We gonna get married someday. We are okay. Basically, what he's saying to you is, I'm not ready to commit to you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you don't, as a woman, you don't want a man that is not willing to commit to you.
And there's a lot of pressure because for a woman, people will say, so how long have you two been together? He hasn't put a ring on your finger yet.
Mm.
He hasn't asked you to marry him yet.
Mm. Woo.
And, and so now, from her family, from her co-workers, from her friends, girl, when is he going to pop the question? And you don't want, what he's saying is, you don't want to rush that process, because if that man's not ready, leave him alone.
Yep.
Let him catch up to where you are, because women are just, because of our emotions and our makeup, we're much faster to get out there, where the man is not. And you want that man to be ready,
So you dump that. So if you're a woman, you're in the danger of dumping that man and running to another to try to hurry him along, or hopefully he'll be, and you just then left the good one.
Yeah.
Because you think
Happens all the time. Yep.
happens all the time, right?
That's unfortunate.
Unfortunate, but that happens all the time.
Because there's pressure, and a woman feels like, she's getting pressure from the outside influences, but in her heart of hearts, she needs to understand, I cannot cause this man to do something that he's not ready for. Because if he's not ready, he's just not ready.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
it's just different.
Yeah. You want him to be ready, rather than just do it because you're ready, or you want him to be ready. But if he's not there, he's not there.
And that's where they make it, that's where I see when you said that, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's the thing that they make, like they may say, well, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? And nothing is wrong with them. So that's, this is ugly. It's a mess, man. I'm surprised. It's a good thing we're resilient. Woo.
You want to relate, especially when you get involved and you get into these committed relationships and you start to having kids and that kind of. California, I was just reading today, California has the highest divorce rate in the United States and the most absent fathers.
Really?
In California, in the state of California, because California is one of those no-fault divorce states. And what's missing here is real commitment. Commitment is not there because people rush this thing. They go to a bar, they get high, they get the feeling good, and they jump. And now you done had this sexual encounter, and you think because he said, I love you and all that kind of stuff, you actually think he cares for you. And you really, that's what nowhere in his mind. You see saying, I love you because he was excited.
Yeah.
You
Or
know,
because he knew that's what you wanted to hear.
yeah.
Yeah, don't have sex in the feeling stage. Wait till the commitment stage.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Right?
It is difficult because our young people think you don't know what you're talking about. And the feeling stage is very powerful. And so if you start getting caught up into that, then the way you think changes. You can
The way you process.
you can say, oh, okay, we're not going to do nothing. We're not going to get involved. We just going to go out and have fun. We're just going to go to the show. We're just going to go to the movies. Then we're going to go get something to eat. The problem with this is that attraction starts to just build and build, and you open up an opportunity, and the next thing you know, because you done kissed a couple of times and you holding hands and now you feeling on each other, now your thinking process changes.
Yeah.
What you used to think, you don't think that no more.
No.
I'm not going to, changes to, well, it's going to be all right this time.
Yeah.
And then it messes, I'm sorry, I just wanted to put this out there too. It messes with a woman's self-esteem if she feels that that man doesn't, oh, you're good. If she feels that that man is not attracted to her on that level, then she'll start asking herself, so what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
If it starts to get too
Ooh.
demanding or too close, he starts to back away.
Yeah.
When he starts to back away, she's like, what's wrong? What's wrong?
Then she starts doing, oh, I'm sorry. But then she starts exposing herself because she thinks if I expose myself, I'll attract somebody. But that's the wrong thing you want to do. Because it's not attraction. It's just, I'm looking at your stuff and I like your stuff because men are visual. Men are visual.
Your arm's too short to box with God. God actually made it this way. He made this. And if you try to box with him, you're just gonna lose. You're gonna get knocked out. Okay, so the best thing to do is to stay away from situations that get you caught up in stuff like that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No worries. So that's what like, because some women, like, they try to make they don't understand that the man is a visual person. They try to make the man not be a visual person and be ashamed of being a visual person. But instead of working with it and understanding, I mean, because we both got to, men got to understand women, women got to understand some things about men, right?
Right.
So, because I have seen that, some women push the agenda of, what do they say? Like, I remember there was a show last night. The show was saying this guy was trying to meet the girl, and his voice in the back of his head is like, "Don't look at her boobs. Don't look at her boobs. Don't look at her boobs." Right? And you don't try to, but it's a visual thing happening, right? And it's really complicated. I know what I want to say, but I guess I don't have enough time to develop it. But it's just like, I guess we have to really understand each other. What's the makeup of a man? If he's a visual person, understand that. And what's the makeup of a woman, right? And understand that.
It's always wise as in girls need mamas, real mamas, to help them understand that kind of thing, and not to dress like that. Now, of course, girls are caught up in the pressure of their friends,
Peer pressure,
that kind of thing. But you really shouldn't present your physical self to a guy, not early. You really shouldn't do that. That complicates things. It gets all in the way.
because now all he's there for is because of what he sees.
Yeah, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the wrong time. It's just the wrong time.
Don't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah. Because the cart now
It's overturned.
overturned.
There's a lot of horses at the
laying by
home
the side
exception
of the
now.
road.
So this is something,
Oh.
Joe and Linda, that we try to talk to couples about when we do premarital with them, understanding this wheel, understanding it, because yeah, you have the feelings, and yeah, you just can't wait to get married, and yeah, we just so in love, and it's gonna be all wonderful, and you know, the white picket fence and the 3-car garage and 3.2 kids, whatever that looks like. But the reality is, this commitment is real.
Mhm,
There's too many kids that don't have mamas and daddies.
mhm,
They got to grow up without their daddy. They got to
Mhm.
grow up without with a mama who's been wounded by somebody. They got to, and that stuff affects the kids.
mhm,
And so if you're going to make this commitment, you really need to make a real commitment and understand what it is you're saying when you say this.
mhm,
It's one of the reasons why after this pageantry takes place, and
Mhm.
all of the flower maids walk in, and everybody's looking so wonderful, and then the little babies come in dropping flowers and all that kind of stuff, and then the little rain guy, he just runs in and goes by you and all that kind of stuff, and all the people are, "Ooh,
It's so cute.
it's so cute, it's so cute." And then the woman comes, the bride comes in, everybody stands and all of, okay, the first thing the preacher says, "Dearly beloved, we're gathered together here in the sight of God to join this man and this one." What he's actually doing, or she's actually doing, is bringing people back to the real reason
Mhm,
that we're here.
mhm.
Because we didn't got caught up in the pageantry. But
Oh.
this is real.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
Lives are at stake.
You know, that's the whole point. Come back, come back, come back to reality. This is why we're here. Stop getting caught up in it and think about what you fixing to commit to.
Mhm, mhm.
Because it's not about her. As good as she looked, this is not about her. This is about you. That's why none of the vows say anything about the other person. It's all about you. Do you take this, and will you, and do you, and forever, or for as long as you both say, will you? It has nothing to do with that other person. It has everything
Mhm.
to do with you.
Wow. Make sure you got yourself together.
Yes, sir,
Yes,
brother
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Ooh, man, that's deep. So I want to ask you then, did you have any questions?
No.
I want to ask you then, so the wheelbarrow, the wheel and all that, is that something that's published? How can the viewers like see some of that, you know, the triangle and the wheelbarrow? Is that something that they can go to your website and
I
get
haven't put it
information on?
I haven't put it there yet. I use it generally for a premarital, but I'm going to put it up on the website and need to get all of that done so that when I put it up, it'll be okay. Probably a week or two, something like that, Joe. But I just haven't put it up there yet. I generally use this to begin couple training, couple coaching, and premarital.
Oh, so if they wanted to reach out to you and learn more about it, they can get a hold of you then.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And so is that so they can get hold of you through your website?
Yeah, website, and what's the phone number, babe? It's 909
909
mm,
999,
5433. Is that
which
it?
is LIFE, life.
Oh, okay. So 909-999-5433.
Or our website, which is Family Life Institute, IE, look for inlandempire.com.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm thinking about, man, it almost I almost want to go back in time. Too late. I almost want to go back to time and do it right. You know, okay, I asked Linda, right? Like, no, before marriage, like we're gonna be together. I always want to go back to time and like grab that, like, you know, there's a hand coming into the future right now. and taking that out of your hand, and then make a copy for Linda, and I have it. And so it's 1992, and like, okay, this is what we supposed to be doing.
What,
Well, 92, we got married in August. You know, you still had 7 months in 1992. I'm talking about like January of 1992, because we got married in August of 1992. I'm talking about January.
Oh, that's when we met.
You know, like, okay. So, because I can, you know, I can slap myself across the head, my 23-year-old self across the head.
watch out, Joey.
But you know what? When you don't know, some people are very innocent in this thing because they don't know.
Yeah.
And when no one has set you down, you know, like a dad or mom or a grandparent or a mentor or a godparent, if no one sat you down, there's a lot that we just don't know.
Just don't get.
You know,
and we
people,
make choices.
I'm sorry.
No, go, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, people want relationships, but they don't really know how to do them.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do them well, if I'll say it like that.
Now, I do remember, or when you say people don't sit you down, I remember someone sitting me down, but it was only for like 5 minutes.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
And they told you not to do a certain thing.
There's things to lay out, blah, 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 blah. And it was it. It's like, you know, so people may do it, but they're not spending enough time there.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember my conversation, you know, it was like 5 to 10 minutes and that was it. And I was gone on my way. It's almost like you're walking in the living room, you see someone on television, and then you walk away. You don't got the beginning. You're not gonna know what the end is about. You didn't know why this happened. You know, just.
It is so important, Joe, for parents today, and even in like your generation, even our generation, to really understand this, to really tell people, because if you don't know,
you just don't know.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
It's important to have the kind of relationship with your children where they want to hear what you have to say. They respect you enough to want to sit at your feet and say, tell me more. Or can we do this, you know, for the next several months or whatever? Because it's a lot.
Yeah.
And most people just don't sit down and have these conversations.
Yeah.
What the school gives you is what, just sex education?
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer that if the school system actually taught relationship education, not just sex education, we would be a lot better off.
Yeah, you won't be seeing a lot of horses walk behind the carriages.
Yeah.
That goes on a lot.
Yeah.
You know, look at that horse.
Yeah.
Behind the carriage.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a good point though, relationship education.
I would start in middle school because kids are there in middle school.
Yeah.
And the more you give them, the better they'll understand what it is. Now, they can take all that good information and just, you know, it goes over their head, but at least you've given them the responsibility. Okay, I've told you. Because our biggest thing with parents is don't get pregnant. Don't have sex, don't get pregnant. Don't have sex, don't get pregnant.
Don't bring no kid here for me to take care of.
Yeah.
And
That's not a conversation.
Yeah, and they miss that whole feeling, you know, that's going to happen inside that child's body. You know, that feeling, those feelings, those sparks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So don't have a child is not going to do when it's sparks. Ooh, like I like this feeling. No, that's what happens, right?
That's what happened. That's what happened.
So, man.
So without context, if you tell a person don't get in the dark with a person, don't be biased without context to that, and you're not giving the whys, and you just leaving the child out there. They just wide open. They have no clue of the power of the opposite sex. They have no clue. No clue. They don't realize that their thought process changes when the
Mhm.
hormone level kicks up.
Yeah.
I'd be like me, what's this button do?
Yep.
Yep. What's that button do? Oh, a baby. You know, that's what that is.
Yep. And now here you come bringing this child home.
Uh-uh.
And you don't even have money for Pampers.
Yeah. It's just a whole big, huge.
Whew.
Shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
Trying to hit a target because you hear noise.
Mm.
That's some deep stuff. That's good.
Well,
Inspired.
that's what we're working on, Mr. Joe. Just trying to enlighten people, help them understand the process of this thing you call love. It's not just that feeling. There's more involved in it. There's some equal parts that's just as important as the feelings.
Mhm.
Wow.
And I like this because this is not just about people that's married. This is helping people before they get married and even helping them learn this because they didn't know it for their kids. You
Mhm.
know, like if we look at it,
Navigate those.
it's hard to succeed without having the knowledge to know how, you know.
Mhm.
So
Watching
Yeah.
the pitfalls to watch out for, and
Mhm.
because a lot of it is, because we all when we teach people stuff, we want the light bulb to go off. Well, not the light bulb necessarily, but if if you tell somebody something and then it actually happens,
Mhm.
and that person goes, he said that was going to happen, or she said that was going to happen, and it happens.
Mhm.
That's the greatest teacher right there. That's the greatest learning moment.
Oh yeah.
And you
Yeah.
got to be spot on too, right? You got to be spot on with your knowledge, you know.
Yep. Yep.
So
So it's so important to slow down in those kind of relationships. It's so important to slow down. Give the guy time to really know who he really is and what he really thinks about
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, I could write a book.
several books,
her.
several books.
Yeah, might help somebody.
Yeah, you would.
Well, this has been very, very enlightening. This is a really good, this may be the best topic
for you,
for inside of me as I'm listening, because they all were pretty good. But this is like because you have your first, and then you have your close second,
Mhm.
close third and close fourth. But this is pretty good. You need to patent this.
Okay, Mr. Joe.
Trying to get him to write a book.
Yeah, you should do something, because I'm inspired.
All righty, sir.
I'm
All
inspired
right.
by it. So wow. And that relationship education, that's something, right? You should do something with that.
Mhm.
I mean, I know it's a lot of prep work though, because
Yeah.
when you go to school and try and present it and pitch it to a school, they got to see where it's going to start and where you're going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the data is there. It's there. Children and Family Services, the court system,
Mhm.
divorce court. It's all there, and they keep. This is how they keep records of everything that's going on in society. And when we look at society, we see that we're a pretty messed up bunch because we aren't educating ourselves. We're not allowing ourselves to really learn and grow. We want a quick fix. Give it to me in small bites, and then let me go. I'm out of here. And we're just making mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. You don't get 10 minutes of driver's education.
Yeah.
Why? Because people's lives are at stake.
Mhm.
Not just your life, but other people's lives. Because if we don't teach you how to really drive this automobile that weighs, I don't know how many tons or whatever.
2 ton.
Weighs a
Yeah.
ton.
Ton.
But yeah, you could do some serious damage. You could cause people to lose family members, and so
I call it the microwave effect.
Yeah.
quick bites, and give me the quick bites so I can get out of here.
Mhm.
I call it the microwave effect.
Yeah, that's good term for it too.
You need to put that sucker in the oven. That's what you need to
Oh,
do.
cook it.
Yeah, you gotta turn the oven on, and it gotta take a while to heat up.
Yeah. Let
You
those
know?
seasonings get marinated inside. Yeah.
And you eat an hour later. An hour? We want that microwave effect, man. That's what's that's what's killing us.
But the hard part for me when we're talking and I'm thinking is you don't know you don't know.
Yeah, she said that. Yeah, she said
You know,
that. Yeah.
it's like when you say soft skills and communication, it's like I know how to talk. You know,
Yeah.
No, you don't.
That's what a lot of people think.
Yeah.
But when we've taught in our classes, I've always used this illustration. Words come from letters, and letters are simply symbols. But when you take those symbols and formulate them into a word in a sentence, you can actually hurt a person. You can bring life to that person,
Mhm.
or you can damage that person. You can tell a child, you're so stupid. After a while, if you say it often enough, that child will believe that they're stupid.
Wow, you created a picture. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's why you will be judged, right? Jesus said you'll be judged out of every idle word that comes out of the mouth.
Every idle word, yeah.
Every idle word.
Mhm.
mhm. Meaning that you didn't think about it before you said it.
Mhm.
Now, do you think that words are so powerful? Because some people say this, and I don't know how true this is, because I find myself saying it sometimes. Do you think that since words are so powerful, when you say it, it actually travels like in space? The words, they're just sound.
Mhm.
It's just traveling and traveling and traveling. That's why
I don't know about the audible part of it. I know that words do carry energy.
yeah.
It carries a lot of energy, and that energy affects people emotionally. It can affect them even physically after a period of time. You know, and in that way, words become really powerful. Because there's a lot of energy behind words.
Right. Like when someone says, I love you,
Yeah,
that changes everything.
yeah.
If you tell a child often enough, and not just say it, but they actually sense it, that they're loved, that they're appreciated. I'm glad you're mine. That child feels good about them. That's how self-esteem is developed. But if you do just the opposite, you could destroy a child's self-esteem.
And you can destroy faster than you build up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Negative feelings are much more powerful than positive,
Yeah.
and they hang around longer. They
Right.
hang around much longer.
Right.
You know.
Wow.
So hurtful feelings hang out with you for a long time. Whereas people can make you feel good, they can say things you feel good, and in an hour you can got over it. But hurtful things, they hang out with you a lot longer.
And those good words too, those encouraging, makes you wanna be around a person.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
If your energy is up, your energy is high, and you're really happy to talk to them, you can see them kind of like this and start smiling and come close to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true stuff. I'm trying to tell you. But
So I know Babe got this. Oh, she's gonna write a book about it or not.
If I write a book, you write a book. If you write a book, I'll write a book.
Okay. So
we
she's
got
got
somebody to help you with that.
okay.
We know somebody to help you with that. If you ever get serious of writing a book.
Oh,
Oh,
I
okay,
need to.
okay.
I really do.
Yeah.
Both of us, we really do.
She's got this saying though, Joe. I like you. In fact, I have it in one of my things here with the circle. I like you, and because I like you, I want to be around you. Because when I'm around you, I feel better about me. Words, skill of encouragement.
Yeah. Nice.
So I'll have to get with you, Mr. Gerald, because I've been putting it off, and I don't need to do that.
Okay.
In fact,
Yeah.
I have
You got somebody to help with that. And then maybe because Linda gave me an idea about one of her books to make it into an app.
Oh, okay.
But when you make it into an app, it's just not, it's different from e-text. Like, but the app is like when you're saying some stuff in the book, you actually, you know, I'm thinking about showing something and making it more a little bit more alive, right?
The Dancing in Harmony book.
The Dancing in Harmony book, yeah. So if we ever move in that direction, it's gonna be a lot of work because she has to get to work, right? Because you know, you write something in your book and you already have it up. Now you got to bring out points. Okay, what else do you want to do here? What else do we do here, right? To lively it up a little bit, to keep the person engaged, other than just reading. You know, because you got to be in the mood to read.
Yeah.
Right.
I can read anytime.
Well, I have some ideas.
Okay.
So start small.
Sure.
Like Linda's book.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of work, though. My goodness gracious. Man. Woo.
It's good.
It's little, but it's deep.
It's deep.
That's the problem.
She doesn't have any fluff in it. That's why it's so thin.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, man, they write books, the reason that thick, they got a lot of fluff in there. Like, man, come on, you know. Well, it started in October of last year. And I remember because it was a sunny day and I saw these two squirrels. That got me thinking. I was like, come on, man. So that's how they make their book thicker.
Yeah.
And all stuff like that. Okay, I get it, but geez.
I got you. Take the fluff away. Let's get to the bottom line.
Yeah, if people took the fluff away, their books would be real thin.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I mean, we're at the hour. We're over the hour mark, hour and 15-minute mark right now.
Oh my.
But it's been a pleasure. Actually, I really enjoyed this one. So thank you for taking the time to meet with us again.
We appreciate it. Our pleasure. Our pleasure, Joe.
So if you don't have any other questions or anything, so if you're listening to this and you want to find out more information, you can go to the website FamilyLifeInstituteIE.com, right?
Yes.
If you want to email, what's the email? It's the email address, Pastor James at Center of Christ Ministries.
Ministry.
Oh, ministry. Pastor James at Center of Christ Ministry.com.
Yes.
And the phone number is 909-999-5433.
Yep.
I got it right?
Got it right.
So I hope this has been helpful to everybody. I know it's a little long this week, but it's good information. And you can just watch it in little segments. So until next time.
I'll see you later.
I wanted to say something like you guys always say at the end of every Sunday. We want your life
to be
good. I need to think of something now.
All right, Joe.
But thanks a lot, guys.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.